And we are live. Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. It's 6 p.m., which means it is time for the Monster Maverick Show. And I'm your host, Neil. If you check out the video here, you can see my outfit here. We had a lot of chatter in Discord today about costumes for the streaming. So this is my costume, which is a nice little fluffy robe with polar bears on it. That's about the extent of my costume skills. So this is my effort. It also gets cold in my basement here when in the evening the air conditioning kicks on and tries to drive the temperature down for sleeping. So it's chilly. I like the word the room. Finally a math guy. That's right. The beard is looking good. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. I actually need a little bit of trim, but yeah, so this is the Monster Maverick Show. This is the show about all things Splinterlands when it comes to the investment, money, financial earnings side of things. Yeb is in the house. All right, so let me drop a little notice on the Discord so that people know that the stream is starting. Let's see, Monster Maverick Show is live. Splinterlands.tv/watch. All right. So it's you could call it a big day. Today is the 24th, and on the 25th, about how long? About 18 hours from now, we're gonna have our node sales, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that, a little bit about the math. We're gonna do our weekly ecosystem roundup. We're gonna do talk about nodes. We're gonna talk about ranked rewards changes because we got a little bit more information now from the QA testing, which is fantastic. And then we had back on Sunday we had a special edition of the Monster Maverick Show where I was opening some packs. So with whatever time is left over, we're gonna open some more. And if you like to live vicariously through the streams of seeing what it's like to open thousands of packs at a time, then you'll enjoy this one. All right, but I'm your host. I'm Neil, and I always like to start these shows off with why you might want to listen to me, why I might have an opinion worth listening to when it comes to Splinterlands, and really it comes down to the fact of a couple things. So one, I've been in Splinterlands since day one. Two, I am, at least as far as I know, still the largest single asset owner outside of team members, because Aggro does have more cards than I do, which is sad. Cryptomancer has one more region than I do, which makes me very sad. but as far as non-team members, I last I checked anyway, I still had the most. And because you're wearing a polar bear blanket, this is a polar bear robe. It's totally different. So been around the game the entire time. Way too invested in the game, and in my day job, I do tax work, I do tax strategy, help people save lots of money, probably $30 million a year, something like that, in terms of taxes not going to the government that otherwise would have. And so I'm a numbers guy, basically, when it comes down to it. And I've applied all that financial investing knowledge to Splinterlands over the years. And am I going to beat out Cryptomancer with node licenses? Maybe. We will find out. I'm going to be bidding. Let's just say bidding. So also in the Splinterlands ecosystem, I am one half of the team behind X Chaos, my partner Gerber. There, that is the Chaos Legion launch pool that we started and tokenized, where people could buy one X Chaos and then they got one Chaos pack on the launch. And in addition to that, with the airdrop values that we get over time, we distribute those in DEC to all X Chaos holders. And then the other Splinterlands business I have with another partner that I'm 50% of is the Venari Syndicate, Digital Asset Investments, and that is actually a full-on fund of a syndication fund where our partners come in, they put up capital, we deploy it into the game for a yield, and then we return profits to our partners. That's an accredited deal. You have to be an accredited investor, which means that generally you either have very high income for 2 years or you have a net worth higher than $1 million, excluding your primary residence, or you are a Series 65 holder. Those are kind of the three primary ways in order to become accredited, at least in the U.S. Different countries have different variations on that, but basically it's people with a lot of money, and that goes back to the old securities laws that were passed in 1933, 1934, where FDR is protecting the little guy by not letting them invest in non-sanctioned stuff. Basically, this goes to the Securities Acts back then. So in order to safeguard the populace from scams and things, they made it so that you had to have a certain income or net worth in order to be qualified to invest in these things. So you could afford to lose the money if it came down to it. There's pros and cons with that. Are they really protecting the little guy? There are still giant Wall Street scams. We had Bernie Madoff, who made off with billions of dollars at some point. And so how well that whole system works is up for debate. However, that is the law of the land, and we do follow it. So why you might be interested in that one is simply because even though you may not be accredited, if you bring us an accredited investor, you get a share of our management fees for that investor. So we take a pay cut for you doing the work of bringing in the capital. So something to consider. At the moment, we are not allowing any new investors, though, because we have a major change coming. We have the ranked rewards update, which is rolling out here in a week. And I actually just got a notification on Discord that there is a ranked rewards update event of some sort. I imagine the team will be getting on the Discord stage and talking about update stuff. So be on the lookout for that next week. So that's me. That's why I look at Splinterland stuff the way I do, and why it might be worth listening to. No, for real, nobody told me that. That's right. All right. So before we get too much further, let's hit the theme song, which is my favorite rendition by Azarian. So, it's on repeat. That was not good. I don't know why it was on repeat. So that is the intro, and I've discovered through my YouTube statistics that it's better to do the intro, the words first to hook their attention, and then do the theme song instead of people hitting the video or just hearing the theme music. So that's why I changed the order on that, and I think it's kind of working. I don't have enough data to really confirm, but I think it's working. So let us go straight into the numbers. Several different numbers I want to hit this week, and let's go to the splinter sheets. All right, so this is my ecosystem value, where I take a weekly snapshot of the different tokens all in the Splinterlands world. There's a lot of them. There's alphas, there's betas, there's orbs, there's SL dice, there's chaos, there's plots, there's tracks, there's regions, there's totem, 4 different kinds of totems, DEC, SPS, vouchers, then the actual cards. Let's not forget about the cards. So overall, nice little bump. So DEC had a weird gain. I think there's an issue with the supply number there, because that doubled. I don't think that's actually right. Unless maybe it's preparing for wild and modern, but I don't know. I don't think that number is quite right. But it's a small number overall, so that doesn't affect things too much. But overall, we saw Untamed popped 12%. Promos and rewards went up 8%, and then the Chaos Legion cards went up 8%. Everything else, the other editions are up but smaller. And one thing that took a beating was orbs. Somebody got a steal on epic totems. They went from 80 bucks to $22. So, and then oh no, those are the rare ones. The epic ones went from 374 down to 110. So somebody just was cleaning house and selling all their totems, I guess. I haven't looked into the names on the JJB interface, but yeah. So people who picked up totems, good job. SBS though is up 18%, a $12 million gain there, so that's a good chunk of the $25 million swing from last week. So things are changing, things are positive, and why are they positive? Well, two reasons. One is nodes, and the other is rewards changes. So the people who are interested in buying nodes, they've been buying up vouchers, they've been buying up SPS. The people who are interested in the rewards changes have been buying up cards and packs and all those things, all those in-game playing assets. So I believe it was one person was when Hive dropped and people still had totems listed as Hive and didn't change it. I don't think that's quite true. I mean, maybe, but Hive was low for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and those prices were not the same. So, like if we look at the rare totems, they went from 110 down to 66, up to 80 last week, and then down to 22. So there was trading of actual totems going on there, more than just the Hive price, because all Hive engine transactions are priced in Hive. So that does add a wrinkle to it where you have to do that foreign exchange kind of conversion. But I don't think that explains the change over the last week. So, again, you could look on. In fact, let's just do it. Let's just look at the JJB interface. So this is kind of some secret sauce where there's a let's see, totem C. So JJB 777 is an old Steam hand and created this interface for Hive Engine. This was basically a fork of Hive Engine. That it displays the names of the bids and the asks and the trades over the past however long. So this is not something where you would sign in. Definitely don't do that because who knows where that goes. But it does read the data. So let's see who bought. Let's see. Buyer was Zoe24, and seller was Transcript Junkie. So Transcript Junkie sold. Well, this is back on the 20th. There were 5 different transactions that it's listing here. There might have been more, but that's how things go here. So Transcript Junkie basically hit the bid on all of these. To Turtle Vault, to Ryan 600, to Spark of Phoenix, and to Zoe24, and just crushed the order book basically. So and now there's more bids that have popped up, but Zoe24 is really active with this. It might be a market making bot. But yeah, I guess Transcript Junkie was, happy to dump. This is, I'll paste it in the chat. That is the GitHub for JJB's site. Again, I do not recommend signing in. In fact, if you're not an expert, I don't remember logging in at all or bringing it up at all. But I know people want to know. So, I put out a tweet that the show is live. That's always good. And then Leodex is great for those Hive to USD conversions on everything. So that's where I get a lot of those prices. Also, we get some supply numbers from there. But doesn't actually work for the larger supply issues like DEC, SPS, and Chaos packs. Because they cap out at 999,999. I guess that's a Hive Engine limitation of some sort. Alright, so if we go back to the sheet, it's a hard fork. Do not sign in. Do not do that. It is not an actual interface. It is just a read-only kind of display. So if we look at the total values, we saw a dip into the 10th, and obviously these are just weekly snapshots because I'm just doing it manually. And we were back up to almost where we were on the 26th of April. So about a month later, we're kind of back to where we are, or where we were. So that's all to the good. And let's see. So a lot of that is nodes, because we could see that the SPS, grew from whatever it was. We hit a low of like 6 cents, and now we're up to 10 cents and change. And we can see that on the chart, the big chart here. So SPS it's yes, Elon El IDON. It's the same information, but it is not the same interface. So not secure. Just understand that. um, so if we look at the chart here for SPS, we saw that obviously we've had distribution phase, price going down, down, down. We've talked about how the inflation is changing. The inflation is now cut by 36% compared to last month because the private sale buyers are completely paid out now. So they are either holding their SPS or not, but whatever they're doing, they have done it. And so we saw SPS kind of flatten out. We had a meltdown in the overall markets with stocks, Bitcoin, everything, and SPS followed suit as a high beta kind of coin. And then we hit this bottom on the 12th, and we've been rising pretty decently ever since. We're up about 100% since then over the last 2 weeks. So that is positive. And why would people want to buy SPS? Well, there's this whole node thing that's happening shortly. In 17 hours and 43 minutes from the time I'm recording this. So if you're watching this live, it's tomorrow at noon Eastern. If you are watching the recording, I hope you got some. So we had a town hall yesterday, which was largely node focused. Yaba was on there, and usually he's only on once a month, but we got 2 Yabas in a row for the past 2 weeks, which is great. And we were talking about a lot of node stuff. So let's go to. Do you want to go to the announcement, or do you want to go to the math? Let's do the announcement first. Let's see. I should probably have this link ready, but I don't. So I scroll through the official announcements. If Discord will cooperate. That's not. Every time I stream, things just slow down. Here we go. The overview of nodes and pre-sale licenses. So what's actually happening tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow is that we're having a pre-sale of licenses. So pre-sale meaning that the thing is not ready yet. So that's important to know. They're talking about Q4 of 2022. And I know Yaba has mentioned on the town hall that he wants to get it out sooner than that, and they're in testing right now, and things are looking okay, and et cetera, et cetera. But we all know things happen, especially in the world of software development, and nothing is ever on time or costs what you expect. So I'm going to stick with Q4 2022, which means Christmas, because that's the end of Q4 2022. That's my estimate of when nodes will be fully functional and released and all that kind of stuff. And if it happens earlier, I am pleasantly surprised. But if not, I'll hopefully set my expectations accurately. So that's pre-sale. That's issue number 1. Second is that these are licenses. So the nodes themselves is actually software that runs on a server, and it's going to validate, at least at first, SPS transactions. I assume inside the game or between the game and staking, unstaking, transfers, sending SPS in and out to Hive Engine or Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum. I assume those are the actual transactions that are being validated by all the third parties running nodes. So the software itself is going to be open source, freeware, anybody can run it. But then the licenses are costly. And what's going to happen is that there's a pool of SPS out there. And it's 3.75 million SPS, and that is per month. So that pool is going to be distributed to license holders who have licenses activated on nodes. So there's 2 parts there. You have to be running a node, and then you have to have a license, which is an NFT, tradable, sellable, whatever, that is assigned to that node. And then all the licenses that are active and on nodes are going to share in this 3.75 million SPS per month. And there's going to be 2 parts to that 3.75. So one part is 375,000 that's going to be vote weighted, and the other part, which is 3.375 million, is going to just be equally distributed. So what I had thought before yesterday was that the the voting for the license holders was going to follow the Hive witness model. So Hive is a delegated proof of stake. The nodes are also going to be a delegated proof of stake system. In Hive witnesses, the top 20, the witnesses, the top 20 witnesses that have the most votes are always in rotation for validating the next block. And then the 21st spot is basically randomly selected from everybody else, because there's 150 witnesses, so numbers 21 through 150 are randomly slotted in every 21 blocks on average. There's um, some more randomness assigned to it, but that's on average how it works over time. So I had done a whole bunch of projections based on the fact that, well, if you're in the top 20, you're going to get, 1/21st of that 375,000. And then on the town hall yesterday, Yaba had mentioned, it's like, well, it's probably just going to be proportional to your vote, which is a totally different system. So it creates a really interesting dynamic, because what it does is it vastly rewards self-voting if you have a lot. So, I know myself, I've got about 2 million SPS, although I'll have less after tomorrow. um, so, if I look at all the staked SPS that's out there, which is 300 and something million, not all of it's going to vote. There's going to be a good chunk that's idle, and then of that, if I take my 2 million and divide it out, it comes out to 0.5%, something like that. So I could assign myself 0.5% of that 375,000, which is decent. It's not as good as if I were top 20 and getting 1/21st of that 375, but it's decent. And what remains to be seen is if we get multi-voting. So like in the Hive system, one account with a given amount of Hive power can vote for 30, I think it's 30 witnesses, all with the same Hive power. So you're kind of multiplexing your vote. And I don't know if that is going to follow into the SPS voting system, or if it's going to be one coin, one vote. We'll have to wait and see. But it does create additional incentive to buy and stake SPS, which is always a good thing. And so if I'm able to swing a large bag of SPS, and then vote for myself, then there's a strong correlation to increasing my own earnings that way. Bird, Bees, and Trees says all actions right for the nodes. How much for license? How much for nodes? Yes. So the node itself is free. The license we're going to get to here in just a second. So here's the pricing. There's 8 tranches. So the first is a pre-sale, 2,000 of them, $1,000 of SPS. So it's $1,000 but the transaction is going to occur in SPS. So right now SPS is right around 10 cents. So it's going to be, if that price holds through tomorrow, it'll be 10,000 SPS per license, plus 500 vouchers. And then once those sell out, then we go to tranche 1, which is, there's 3,000 of them, and they're going to cost $3,000, again priced in SPS, with a voucher discount rate of $3. So if you go through the math of how all these work, is that basically if you choose to use vouchers, you can get a discount on the SPS cost, and you can get up to a 50% discount. So if you apply the discount to tranche 1, you could do $1,500 of SPS and 500 vouchers. In tranche 2, you could do $2,500 of SPS and 500 vouchers. Or you could spend $5,000 of SPS and 0 vouchers. Or you could do something in between and get, somewhere like 17% discount from the vouchers. So do we need to have the vouchers SPS in-game or Hive Engine? It's going to be in-game, definitely. Don't wait to transfer your stuff until the last minute. Get those tokens ready in-game, because if we look at the shop, it's an in-game shop, right? So whatever screen replaces this, it's going to be spending from these balances up here, right? So definitely have your SPS and have your vouchers ready to go. And you're definitely going to want a little bit more than whatever the current price is, just in case things change. I do believe that they are applying like a 2 hour moving average on SPS. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's happening. Um, so it's not going to jump suddenly, but definitely want to have a little bit of buffer room there to get just in case. So this is based roughly on the Gala model, where as more sell, the price goes up. That's a 1 hour moving average. Okay, so as more sell, then the price goes up, and the really interesting thing here is that so there's a whole bunch of SPS out there. So if we look at the staked versus liquid, there's 387 million liquid SPS. Now, if we stay at this 10-cent price, then pre-sale nodes are going to cost 10,000, tranche one are going to cost 30,000, and so on. So 10,000 times 2,000 pre-sale nodes. That's 2 million, right? SPS, or is it 20 million? Now I'm questioning myself. Let's see, 10,000 times 2,000. All right, so that's 20 million SPS. And if we go through tranche one, all in SPS, no voucher discounts. That's another 60 million SPS. Am I doing that mental math right? 3,000, so 30,000 SPS times 3,000 of them. So it's 90 million. So if we sell out through tranche one, all in SPS and with minimal vouchers, that's 110 million SPS. Well, that's a lot. But there's 387 million that's already liquid. So, chances of that significantly mooning the price over the next 24 hours is low. However, what can moon is the so Fat Jimmy's just asking, have you done any math to determine if burning 20 million is big enough dent to impact the price? I'm going to say no. It's not big enough to significantly impact the price because so many people already have liquid SPS. But what can move is the voucher price. So, we've seen vouchers go from $1. Well, let's go back to the ecosystem. So back on the 12th of April, they were $1.08, and now they're $1.88. So basically up 50%. And that is because of this buying pressure that's coming in through the vouchers. So what happens in pre-sale is that the vouchers are required. In the tranches after pre-sale, they are optional but give discounts. So if I can buy a voucher at $1.88 and then spend it at $3, then that's absolutely an incentive to spend that voucher rather than spending the equivalent dollar amount, the equivalent $3 in SPS. So what that does is that creates an arbitrage. And so as long as you can buy vouchers profitably and people are still interested in buying nodes or buying licenses, to be specific, then there's going to be buying pressure on vouchers up to that discount rate. So I expect to see, once pre-sale sells out, I expect to see vouchers trading pretty close to $3. And that will continue until people's appetite for licenses has been satisfied. So over time, what this is doing is giving vouchers a much, much higher dollar use case of and kind of like a price target for as long as people want to buy those node licenses. So, this is not a series in time, but it's a series in quantity of licenses sold. So at some point in the distant future, if we're on tranche 5, you can expect that vouchers be somewhere near $15. And, and then there will be people who say, well, I'd rather just sell the voucher instead of buying a license. So there will be people who do that. That price will fluctuate, but it'll always have that buying pressure into that voucher discount rate. So what they've designed in the system was a really strong mechanism to give price support to vouchers. Because if we look at this in terms of 50% discount, it's not $1,000 of SPS and then 500 vouchers. What it really becomes is 1,000 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, $1,500 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, $2,500 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, $3,750 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, 5,000 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, 15,000 or 7,500 of SPS plus 500 vouchers, and 10,000 and 20,000 plus 500 vouchers. So I expect the vouchers to arbitrage to this level, over time. So what does that mean as far as returns go, right? So let's go to back to the sheets here. So this is my node model spreadsheet. So there's a couple inputs. So one is current staking APR, current SPS price, current voucher price, and then there's what we're looking at. There's a voucher to SPS ratio, because when you get paid as a licensed node operator, you're getting SPS, which we talked about, but there's also a new pool of 20,000 vouchers that's distributed daily to the license holders. So you're going to get a share of that as well. And so, how many are available, the voucher discounts, and the cost. And then, the thing to keep in mind is that we are spending SPS and we are earning SPS. So I don't really care, especially how much the dollar value is, because this is an SPS trade. I'm spending, burning 80%, 20% is going to the DAO. I'm spending that SPS now in order to get a stream of SPS later. So all of my calculations here are in SPS terms, not in dollar terms, because what we're doing, especially, is that by spending the SPS now, we're taking a position that, one, the SPS price in the future we're going to receive, and that the whole system will be functional, but also that the SPS price will not crater, right? Because if the SPS goes to a fraction of a penny, then it doesn't matter how much you're getting, because it's just zero, right? So we are speculating that SPS will at least maintain its current value, or hopefully increase over time. And I'm fairly bullish on SPS overall. I think we've gone through the distribution phase. Airdrop is ending, and the people with the paper hands are pretty much done. So going forward, it's going to be people who are really interested in split finance governance, who will be buying, holding, staking, using SPS, and then there's all the Rift watchers and stuff coming on. So supply is shrinking rapidly. Demand is going to go up somewhat rapidly. So I think that's a formula for rising prices. So these return numbers are going to be in SPS terms and not in dollar terms, and that's why. So so what are we looking at? Basically, it depends on how many sell and what tranche we get through. So if pre-sale sold out and we had no tranche one, then you would get basically the average license holder would get a stream of 7,000 SPS per month. So I put in the equivalent of 18,000 SPS now, because it's SPS cost plus the equivalent amount of SPS in vouchers, and I get 7,000 a month. That's not terrible. It's a 38% return per month. so do that for 3 months and you've made your SPS back. And then if we end up selling through tranche one, now there's 5,000 licenses out there, and the daily pool is split up amongst 5,000 license holders instead of 2,000. So your return drops, and now we're talking about, if you're a pre-sale buyer, 19% a month. If you are a tranche one buyer, 13% a month. And then if we sell through tranche two, then and you're a pre-sale buyer, it drops to 14% a month. If you're a tranche one buyer and tranche two sells out, then you're at 10% a month. And if you're a tranche two buyer and tranche two sells out, 6% a month. Now keep in mind, these are per month. So to get an annualized yield, we have to multiply that by 12. So that's this guy down here. So what I did was I looked at, well, okay, if you are a licensed node operator, then what are you comparing it to? How else can you use your SPS? And to me, the easy comparison is staking, right? So, the current staking yield is about a little under 60%. I think this number is actually a little bit old, but let's call it 60%. So, to me, it makes sense to reach an equilibrium where the the voucher, or sorry, the license node yield has to be greater than the yield the uh, from staking SPS, because there's this uncertainty with how long it's going to take to get operational, and it's a whole new thing, so there's going to be additional uncertainty there. So if we're at 60% on SPS staking, then 73% on tranche 2 I think makes sense. But I don't think 53% on tranche 2, if we sell into tranche 3, makes sense. So hopefully that's clear. So, I think if people are acting perfectly rationally, which they aren't, but if they were, then I think we should sell pre-sale, tranche 1, and tranche 2 all in rapid order. And then that'll bring us to a quasi-equilibrium state with SPS staking. And that's my take on it, basically. So, I'm a buyer. I've been buying vouchers for weeks in order to accumulate enough to buy licenses tomorrow. And we have a limit of one per transaction. Anyway, I can post a screenshot of that. Percentages, nah, probably not. You got to be here to get the juice. So Cimarron is asking, the question is, how many are going to buy if we sell out through tranche 1 and by the end of the year, if tranche 2 and 3 are supported by SPS? Is the loss of SPS for 6 months worth getting in early? I think so. Personally, I think if you get a license in pre-sale, you are pretty much good to go regardless of what happens. So that is my opinion. It is not financial advice, but I'm going to be buying as many as I can. I will tell you that. What will the estimated price be for vouchers if tranche 2 sells out? Well, if we've gone through tranche 2, then we're in the we've gone through the $5 discount rate and we're into the $7.50 discount rate. So I would expect vouchers to be somewhere in that range. So what I did here in my assumption is I said, okay, it's going to trade at 80% of the discount rate, so $6. Who knows if that's an appropriate arbitrage buffer or not, but it's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood, I think. Now, if the demand for licenses drops off the cliff, then the arbitrage goes away as well. So that's something to keep in mind of. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my little one in pre-sale. Yeah, I think pre-sale in all cases is worth doing, at least for me. I'm happy with those return numbers, and it's greater than the staking yield on SPS now. So, and then I think in tranche 1 that remains true. Tranche 2 is a little bit more debatable, but yeah, pre-sale and tranche 1, I'm green across the board. So the one thing to keep in mind is that the pre-sale transactions are going to be one-offs, meaning that when this page changes at noon tomorrow, back over to nodes. When this page changes, then you'll be able to buy one at a time throughout the pre-sale, and then once the pre-sale sells out, tranche 1 will immediately be available, and at that point you'll be able to buy as many licenses as you want in one transaction. But during pre-sale, it's going to be one by one. You have to click buy, confirm, wait, get the license, click buy, confirm, wait. If you're doing multiples, or I'm sure some people will try setting up purchasing bots and all those kinds of things. But you're gonna have to click those buttons. The guy was saying the voucher requirement will limit how quickly the pre-sale licenses sell out. It will take around 1/3 of all vouchers in existence to be burnt before it's sold out, and that is true. But I think those are there. Rondon is saying, had a call at the beginning. Have you discussed opportunity costs of holding these licenses for a while before nodes are running? Not directly, Rondon, but that is something to keep in mind. So, if it ends up being 6 months, that's 6 months of SPS staking that you're missing out on. And at 60%, that's 30%. So, you have to keep that in mind. And I'm optimistic that we do get them earlier, but I like to plan for worst case scenario. And Judy wants to change the topic. How dare you, sir? But sure, why not? Do you think land is currently at a floor, and do you think totems are a better investment? If so, which ones? Totems are really, really speculative. I don't know. As part of the pre-sale, as part of the whole lottery thing, I got a bunch of totems. I've not bought or sold any since. Um, there was a whole raffle ticket thing with getting totems. So, we don't know. We don't have any information. We do know they will have some effect. We also know that roughly 50% are in the existing supply, and another 50% will be discovered over time in the lands. So even if you have no totems, you might end up with some, just because your people have discovered totems in the plots, at some point. I assume there'll be some kind of quasi-random mining mechanism for that. As far as plots themselves, I am very bullish on plots. I think just if you look at crypto gaming in general, you look at lands, they're highly, highly valued, and I see no reason that splitter lands won't see the same kind of increase in investor demand once lands are, well, one, once we get the map reveal, and two, once they are fully functional and producing NFTs. So I've said many times that I think we have a 10x left in land, and I still think that's true. So if you have the funds for it and you're willing to let them sit for a year, then I think there are definitely worse ways to go, especially with this crypto bear market that we are kind of tripping into. So that's my node. That's my take on nodes. So we are already 40 minutes through the show. We might not get to opening packs, but I'll try to go through stuff quickly. So let's talk about rewards. So what happened over the past week since the last show was that we got a table. We got a list of points and chests by the different leagues. So before we just had this kind of rough idea, and now we have exact figures, which, of course, these are subject to change, but this is the information we have right now. So a couple things. So one is that, obviously updated numbers, market changes, all that kind of stuff. But according to my calculations right now, the average chest value for bronze is 2 cents, silver is 7 cents, gold is 16, diamond is 24, and champion is 54 cents. Now that is making several assumptions that we've talked about. So one is that I'm using the secondary market pack value. Reason for that is because the chances of getting an airdrop out of one reward pack is very low. So I'm basically discounting that entirely. I'm valuing potions at 0 because they're not tradable. DEC is whatever DEC is. And then when we go over to rewards cards, I just do an average value of the different categories, the different rarities. And I'm also making the assumption that the DEC, like in bronze, we get 33% DEC. I'm also assuming that the DEC revealed in a chest is operating under the same bonus or penalty conditions as rewards cards. That might not be true. I think that's actually the weakest assumption I have in the whole thing, but that's what I've been using, because my understanding of the algorithm is that the chest, if it's a DEC chest, it runs through the same mechanism as finding rewards cards, but then just gives you a DEC value instead of the rewards cards. So if that understanding is correct, then the DEC that you get out of the chest will also be subject to the same gold and legendary bonus / penalty as the actual rewards cards. So Adiab is saying diamond seems like could use a boost if my numbers are correct. I mean, it is the weakest. So if we go up, from one step to the next, it's a 3x from bronze to silver, and a 2.3x from silver to gold. Did I do that right? A 1.5x from gold to diamond, and then a 2.24x from diamond to champion. So Yaba is saying the DEC chests are not subject to the multiplier. Okay, so I'll have to change that. So that's different. So these numbers will be wrong, but that's okay. Ordinarily they will be right. Um, so then we got more information with the tables as far as daily focus, like how many chests you're going to get for the different points, and then more specifics on the season chests. So now, if you remember from last week or the week before, I have different R shares per win than is in the rewards announcement. But that's because I'm making different assumptions. I'm not saying we're taking the middle of the league. I'm saying we're getting a reset into wherever we are, and then we progress through the leagues, through the sub steps of the leagues, to have a whole season, right? And that'll bring up our total average R shares because those wins at the end of the season will be at a much higher ranking. So that's why my numbers are a bit different. And there's two cases. One is where we reach the top of whatever league we're in, and then we go to the third rank of the next league, or we reach the top and stay there. So if you go up to the next step, you get a lot more R shares because, well, they're just more valuable, right? And then if you are capped out at your league and don't graduate, then your R shares are capped out at that ranking level, even if your actual ranking is higher. So, with all those assumptions and with more assumptions that we're winning 18 times a day, we're maintaining our ECR at 100%, and then our focus ratio is 70%, then we have actual numbers to use. So, by focus ratio, I mean that, how many of your wins are in the focus that you are using. I'm going to sneeze here. Oh, man. So, if we win 18 times, but 70% are in our focus, then for daily chests, we're talking about 18 times 0.7, so whatever that number is. So 12.6 wins at whatever this R shares amount goes towards our daily chests. And based on that, we're looking at different numbers of chests. So if you're in bronze, you stay in bronze, you reset to bronze, and you stay in bronze, then you're looking at 6 chests a day. If, based on these R shares. If you graduate, you'll get less silver chests. You'll get 1. But the 1 silver chest is worth more than the bronze chest. So, and that pattern repeats, throughout all the leagues. In silver, if you stay in silver, you get 5 chests a day under these assumptions, and you get 2 of the gold chests if you graduated in the previous season. And then 6 versus 4, 7 versus 5, and obviously there is no higher than champions, so that's just 9. So, and then if we do that same comparison on the season basis, so now we have daily chests plus season chests, what's the value of all that combined? Then we're looking at these kind of numbers here. So in bronze, it's, and this is going to be revised with new DEC assumptions, then, it's actually slightly better to stay in bronze. So next week I'll come back to these numbers and we'll revisit how the changes in the DEC calculations affect this. But in all other cases, it's better to actually go up at the end of the season, get those next level chest rewards, than it is to stay in the current league. So things that would count against that would be, if you're actually competing for leaderboard rewards, then maybe it's still worth giving up the extra valuable chests to get the leader rewards. But it's going to be case by case basis. But then it all comes down to APR, right? So that depends entirely on what your deck cost is. So it's very hard to compare. Because everybody's going to have a different strategy. So these numbers that I picked here are just based on, filling out 3 splinters with Chaos Legion. That's not going to be an accurate representation of most people's decks. So you're not going to have probably every card. You're going to specialize with, the higher utility cards and maybe not include some of the lower utility cards. And, you'll have some rewards and you'll have some dice and you'll have some of this, some of that. So it's really hard to get a good number on APRs, but just to be consistent, I went with this 3 splinter, Chaos Legion set, and did for the different leagues. And basically, the way it comes out is that champion's the best. That's bottom line. So you're better off getting into, you know, basically as high as you can go and still maintain a good win ratio. And 18 wins a day, roughly 60% win rate. Obviously, the overall average has to be 50%. So you do want to be better than average. And given the distribution of humans versus bots, I think that's for a decent human player, it's reasonable to assume that you'll do better than average. If you find yourself doing worse than average, then either you need better cards, or you need to get better, or you need to drop down a league. So those are just things to consider. So overall, the even with the cost to build a deck champion is better. So yeah, given max 3 splinter deck, that is better off. But like I said, everybody's going to have their own cost assumptions that they build into this. So your champion deck is probably going to be different than this champion deck, and you have to run the numbers based on your scenario. But overall, the trend is that you want to play in the highest league that you can, that you are competitive in. So, and then at the end of the season, you probably want to jump up to the next league to get those higher league rewards for the next season, and hopefully win at least a few there. All right, I'm behind on chat a little bit, so let's see. I think some people were just talking to Yaba. Let's see, what league do I think is the best return based on your cost to buy the cards? Gold looks to be the sweet spot. No, I mean, again, you can look at the percentages. I actually think Champion is actually the best place to play. Is the issue is the number of chests you can get. If you go up a league, you will get fewer chests. It's true, but they will be worth more. So you have to make that decision. Let's see. If I understand it correctly, before the boost, base chance of gold foil. That's probably talking to Yaba. Potions should be counted as their DEC price, as something that never changes and is worthless only if you don't open. That's true, but a lot of people don't open, so so it's you can assign whatever number you want to that. I mean, they're what is it, 4 cents and 5 cents a piece, something like that. I'm a little concerned about the number of chests in higher league being much lower than now. Quantity is an important motivational metric. I'd love to see the same value spread out over more chests, to be honest, but that's speculation. We'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, I mean that's subjective, and we'll see how it goes. And the team has said repeatedly that they are going to be monitoring the results, and if they need to tweak these numbers, they can. So they can just change the rewards table and the number of points you need, and you get more chests. And they can change the mix up or the composition of the chests, and that'll change the numbers. So there's all kinds of tweaks that can be made, but for now, this is kind of what we're looking at. Where does the DEC in chest come from? Ranked battle reward or somewhere? I believe it's a different pool, but yeah, that could answer you that. Jump up if you plan to play in the league, or say if you plan to jump up if you plan to play in that league, or say if you play in silver, jump to gold to get gold rewards. Yeah, so I'm saying at the end of the season, you're gonna be better off in most cases if you go up to that next league. So if you're playing in silver, last day or 2 or 3, jump up to gold, and you'll get those gold chests the following season. They'll be worth more, but you will get fewer of them. So just be aware of that. So that is. That's kind of the update. So next week I'll have another update with the revised DEC assumptions that Yaba, gave us feedback on. So yeah, that's we'll see how the numbers shake out. I'll actually do that tonight, and I'll probably post it in the Discord chat in the Mavericks room. But we'll go over it next week. So we have a few minutes left. So I wanted to open a few packs because I said I would. So let's go buy some potions. I think I need some. 0 charges remaining. Yes. So Yaba heard my plight on Sunday, which I appreciate, and there's now the button is still there, promo 2,500 charges, but we can go higher. We can do more. So before, when you went up, it just went back to 2,500. So now we can go. I don't know if there's a limit now, but I saw that 10,000 worked. So let's do 10,000 of each. Pay with credits. Because I had some BUSD on Sunday and I just deposited it into credits so that yeah, it got released. See, Yabba doesn't even know. So now we got 11.5. Okay, that was legendary. Let's go to alchemy. I had a plight. I did have a plight. Pay with credits. Just get that ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Splinterland's taking my money. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Oh, another developer must have been listening. Hey, whoever was listening, thank you. I just assumed it was Yabba. But, you know, the days of Yabba having a finger in every little tweak of Splinterlands, I guess is over. All right, so let's go to open. Can't see. Oh, damn, I'm in the wrong window. Okay, so I bought potions. You can see up here at the top, 11.5, 11.501, because I just had one extra for some reason. Let's open a few. Let's open 200. Oh, crap. I wanted to get my values. It's already included. Alright, it was like $1,800 worth of cards in there. Alright, let's reveal all. Oh, there goes the sound. Okay. I thought I had turned everything off. Come on, TFL! Just give Yabba the credit. Be right enough to not care when you're wrong. Oop. Got Alvar, regular. Lyra, regular. Quicks. 3 Quickses. Diamond Hands. Desert Dragon. Scorch Fiend. River Hellendale. Wood Dragon. I mean, we're getting a bunch of legendaries, but no gold foils yet. Quarantine. Iza. Super Soul Fiend. Gotta love the fiends. Retreat. And no GFLs. Alright, lots of gold though. Lots of the lower rarities. Alright, we got 2.5 minutes left. I think we could do one more batch. Let's open. GFE. GFL. All those. Starting with legendary. Slide back. Drum. That's a lot of packs. It is a lot of packs. I went in heavy, you could say. When Cancellation came out. 2 Lyras. Alright. Slipstream. This thing's turning gold. No GFLs yet. No legendaries for a while. Oh, here we go. Got a gold Thaddeus. Regular Iza. Spirit Order. Haven't seen one of those. Ah. Wah wah. No GFLs. And lots of good stuff, but no GFLs. So if we go to... I think Monster Market has a pack opening as analyzer, if I remember right. See if we can do this in the last 30 seconds. Possibly not. Tools. Come on. Analyze openings. What did I open? 400? Analyze. And let's see, gold, legendary 0. That is correct. Got a bunch of stuff. It doesn't give me a total. All right. Oh, here we go. Oh, just burn value. Yeah, that's not so helpful. All right. Well, that is our show for today. And thanks for coming by. Looks like I missed the cutoff, but we'll see you guys next time.